everybody. How are you doing today? This is Patty with Get Balanced 2020. I hope you're all doing good. So I just got done doing a video, so I'm a little parched. But I hope everybody's good and healthy. And for those of you that are brand new, thank you for coming and checking this video out. I have several videos on getbalance2020.com that are free to you about mind, spirit, and body. And it's teaching how to transform your mind to a positive mindset and your spirit, work on your spirituality of why you think the way you think and what you believe in and why you believe in. And the body is actually about nutrition and fitness. All three of them have to go together or we are not balanced. So that's what that's all about. So being a life coach, health coach, and a spiritual coach, I love educating and helping people get through their storms, their trials, their tribunes, their challenges, whatever you want to call them. So today, we're going to be working actually fully on the mind. And I did a mind spirit one here just a few minutes ago, but we're working on that. So I hope if you're interested in more of these videos, I do post them. You would want to like, share, and subscribe. Mostly subscribe down here, please, so that you can actually get all the up-to-date videos that I'm doing. And sometimes I come on live and you can answer questions and things like that. So the page is growing. It has been brand new since January. So the subscribes would really, really help, please. Thank you. Anyway, so let's get going. So our talk today is actually on the root causes of our decisions. So decisions and sort of choices, pretty much same things with the way that we decide on things. And so there's some elements that we actually base the way that we think, why we think that way. A lot of us don't even know why we think that way unless we actually do our homework and dig into that. Okay. So I've done that a lot. So anyway, we want to do that. So when we get to our decisions and our choices, so as a child growing up, we form our ideas, we form our opinions, we form actually the person who we become. Sometimes we form that based on the way somebody else is or how they want us to be. It might not even be what we want at all. It's just how we're grown up, taught, trained, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. So, and sometimes that actual training as we grow comes from not only our parents, but maybe it comes from our grandparents and ancestors and ancestors and ancestors before that. And maybe we don't even want to be that way. That's why it's really important to know who you are and allow yourself to be who you are, as long as it's constructive and positive and in the light, because we want to be sure that we're walking our path to help others to walk their path. I know that's really sort of complicated, but that's the spiritual part of it. So when we make those choices and decisions now as an adult, are we really an adult making those decisions, or are we living our childhood through our life, making them based on old reruns and old things that are in our head? Everybody's like, what is she talking about? Okay, so I don't lose you. Let's take a hypothetical. Somebody is abused as a kid, and they know that if they do something, they're going to be in trouble and they're going to get beat. Okay, so they have to live their life out of fear. So one of the things that we base our elements of our decisions and our choices could be out of fear. Now, they don't want to get hit, so they're going to maybe lie, or they're going to manipulate, or they're going to do something to protect themselves so they don't get beat. What happens is, as they do that they learn that that's a pattern, and that's okay to do. Nobody's beating me up for lying yet. Nobody's beating me up for those choices that I'm making yet. Until you become an adult and you realize that there's accountability and responsibility for that. Why do I know? Been there, done that. So you got it, and some people don't catch that in themselves until they're later. So the root of that decision making is from fear. So if you're making notes, fear is one thing we base our roots and our decisions off of. A lot of people believe that there's only two choices that we choose from to make a decision or a choice. That's either love or that's fear. Now, you think about it, and it might be actually something to that. Because if you think back to why people do things, and somebody asked me, well, I don't believe in that, because what about if it's a serial murderer? Well, you have to think about that person and go all the way back to their childhood. Were they beaten? Were they, you know, were they tortured? Were they ridiculed? Were they whatever? Were they abandoned? Were they adopted and in foster system after foster? You have to go back to the root. And that's why I say the root causes of your decisions in why they're doing that. And most of the time you might look at, oh, they lived a fearful life. They lived a horrible life. What is that show, The Tiger King or whatever? You look back, people would watch that, and my daughter had me watch it, and I felt bad. You know, the guy is a little crazy, but the thing is, you got to go back to, if you listen to his story, where it all started. Now, if it would have changed where he didn't have to be living in fear, and how people would respond to him, would it have changed or maybe turned out differently? Probably so. So I don't like that show. I don't like how people talk about it in the way that it does. I'm an empath, so I'm very sensitive to other people and myself. So don't come at me on that one. But the thing is that I'm getting to the point where everything probably came out of fear. So there's another element that we actually can make a decision on is our weakness. We make a decision out of a weakness. Maybe we actually don't know something, or we aren't educated in something, or we're not strong in something. You know, we make a decision. I hate to say it, but people go and vote for somebody they don't even know because they don't study the politics or whoever that person is. They just go with the flow kind of thing. So that's what I'm saying is there's a weakness. My weakness, I don't like politics. I don't want to talk about politics, and it is a weakness of mine, but I'm not afraid to go ask somebody, hey, I don't know who this guy is. Tell me a little bit about him. And maybe then I will go do my own research because it might be more opinionated rather than factual. So our weaknesses, we make decisions. Now, when we are in a weakness and we're vulnerable, that's another one. But the weakness, when we're in a weakness and we make a decision, sometimes that decision comes back to bite us in the butt because we needed to have more confidence in what we were doing and making the decision that we were doing. So we do need to educate, research, learn, ask questions so that we can actually get stronger in whatever that topic is, whatever it is that we need to make that. And if you're coming into a relationship, then a lot of the times we make a decision out of, again, fear. We don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. We don't want to say no. We allow stuff that we shouldn't allow, those kind of things. So we need to be strong in who we are, know who we are. And again, if that's something you need help with, find a life coach in your area or somebody that can actually help mentor you to build and grow in your weakness where you want to grow, because it begins to balance you out more. Again, third thing is vulnerability. So we make a decision or choice, and unfortunately people prey on that, especially if you're out in the dating field or if you're out in the dating is actually a good example, because you get people that are maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or been divorced. They want to find love again, and maybe they're coming out of a relationship or a divorce, or maybe widowed or something of that nature, and they're just lonely. A loneliness is a vulnerability, and then somebody preys on them, and because it could be a man or a woman, most of the time it's men, they know how to ask the right questions to basically, let me give you an idea. So if somebody is dating, they say, oh, what are you looking for in a man? Oh, well, I would like somebody who's, stable. I would like somebody who's got high integrity. I like somebody who's honest, somebody who likes outdoors. Oh, I like to go to the beach. So maybe a drive to the beach, those kind of things. I'd really like to find somebody like that. Oh, really? I'm like that. I I love all that kind of stuff. Really cool. In all reality, they really don't. They just want to get it. They want to get the, kind of thing. So that's where vulnerability falls in, and then you fall prey, unfortunately. So being vulnerable is a time where you should actually maybe step back, get your strength back up, or people that are supportive around you to help you make decisions and choices, and it's not a time to do it on your own, especially if they're big choices like moving, buying houses, buying cars, things like that. Those kind of things. When we're vulnerable, we have to be sure that they're being protected. Like our elders, oh my goodness, they're vulnerable to these scams, and they need to have people around them. My criminal justice degree, that's what I studied. My specificity is in scams, fraud scams, financial scams, online scams, dating scams, K-1 visa scams, and the elders, the money that they lose, and they don't know. A lot of the times things are different and they don't know. So vulnerability is one. So we need to help protect those that are vulnerable, disabled or handicapped, standing up, seeing something's wrong. We need to help them make a better decision or get somebody involved that will help make that decision for them. Also, the other thing is that, what did I write down? Holy Toledo. Another decision, I got to look this up. The other decision that choices that we make our decisions out of is that we are in pain. So then that could be sort of linked to vulnerability, but hypothetically, let me give you another one, because it's really easy. If I can give you an example, then it sort of might click a little bit easier. So when we're in pain, if we've broken up or we've gone through a divorce, and then we actually are still in our pain and our hurt, but we are lonely, so we want to try to date, and then you end up dating and bringing that pain into somebody else's life. We don't want to do that to another person. We want to make sure that we are whole again before we go out and reach out, because then we make wrong or poor decisions and then we involve somebody else. So the idea, when we make a choice or a decision, make it in understanding, is this going to affect someone else or someone else's in the process? Because most of the time it is. Well, that's not a painful example. Well, it sort of is a painful example, but the thing is that in a relationship, that person comes in and maybe they use somebody and they live with them or whatever, and then they're gone. But if there's children involved, maybe that child got involved with them and they really like that person, but that person really didn't have any interest in them at all. They just got what they wanted and left. And now you've involved that child, and that child now has feelings, and it affected them, affected their thought process about another person, maybe another race or another culture or something like that. So that's what I'm talking about. So when you are in pain, it's best to heal that pain, restore yourself before making any major decisions, if that makes sense. So that's another root cause of why we would make our decisions. The last one that's really, really sort of hard is that you have been maybe previously violated. And so violated physically, I'm talking about, and that could be, men, women, children, babies, as far as sexually violated. And that actually can really carry over into your life and your life choices, from young on. And it becomes a subconscious choice that you do that. And if you don't go back and do your inner child work or your inner self work when you were little and understand where those informations come from, that they're not accurate anymore, that you are a grown up man or woman, and that the decisions that you make now are as an adult. But that child sometimes is still ruling and making decisions and choices for you if you don't work on yourself. So, for example, somebody might mature much later because they are sort of stuck in that childlike behavior or immaturity. Maybe somebody becomes their choice to become promiscuous because that is the way they think, which is incorrect. That's how love is, and that's how they will be loved, through their body, because that's all they know and how they've been taught and trained. And so some of those decisions are dysfunctional because of the way that your brain was trained and taught and brainwashed as a child. All that can be changed and grown and moved forward, but you have to be the willing one to do the homework. Getting a coach, getting a mentor, if you have to even see a psychiatrist or a psychologist, professional help, that's what you should do for yourself. Don't wait until you're in your 40s or 50s. You're going to miss out on beautiful opportunities because you're putting up walls. I should go this way, right? You're putting up walls. And what I educate in my coaching is that you might put up a wall, but make sure there's a gate there in the middle that can open and close, because we want to be able to allow certain people in and keep certain people out. If you put up a wall, nobody's coming in. Does that make sense? And if you put a window, you can only peek. You can okay, you want to come in? Don't think so. Woke you up, didn't I? Anyway, so yeah. So that's why you don't put up a complete wall. You put up a wall with a gate in the center and allow that certain person in that you trust, you're building some understanding with, a coach or mentor or whatever, so that you can actually do that. So, and those are the key points that sort of give us the root of the causes of why we decide what we decide. Now, are they healthy? Are they destructive? Are they constructive? Are they forward movement? Are they keeping us stuck or even backward movement? Those are things that you would have to decide yourself, because I'm not in your head. So you make those decisions yourself. So that's something to look at. Jot down some notes for yourself. How am I making do the 5 W's. How am I making my decisions? What decisions am I making? Why am I making them? Who am I making them with, or am I doing them by myself? Who, what, where? It's really not as important, but where are those decisions coming from? Getting to the root. I guess that is really important, isn't it? Getting to the root. Where are those decisions? Where did they start? Where did those decisions start from? And once you actually sit down and even break down each W, you will really be surprised at how much you are learning about yourself. And you will have so many aha moments, and then you'll be able to transform your thinking actually into a positive, productive, and to your calling, your purpose, and you're going to get the 3 elements actually in balance: mind, spirit, body. Maybe not in that order. Spirit actually should come first, because then you can actually begin to see why you're making the choices where you're making them, because your spirit talks to your personality, your soul, who your character is, your integrity, where all that is. Are you do you have high integrity? Do you have high character? Do you have good morals? These are questions you should be asking yourself. So I really think that you guys came up and watched my video. Make sure you subscribe so you can see the new ones coming out. I'll be doing a bunch more. Actually, I'm actually growing my other channel. It seems to be growing faster, so I'm going to probably start melding these videos together at some point, maybe in the next year. But I love doing these, and so I hope you enjoy them and have an awesome rest of the month. I was going to say July, but you know what? You might be watching this in September, in December, whatever month you're in. I hope you're enjoying it. Take care.